Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be discussing the huge announcement that Fortnite just made regarding matchmaking. This is one of those changes that seriously is going to really alter the entire future of the game, and the reactions to this announcement are very mixed so far. Some people think it's a great idea that's going to have a positive impact on the game going forward, while other people think pretty much the exact opposite. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, September 23rd, the official Fortnite Twitter tweeted out a link to a blog post with the following caption. We're making improvements to matchmaking beginning in update v10.40, read more about it here. And the blog post itself is titled Fortnite Matchmaking Update Battle Royale. Now luckily, the post itself isn't too long, so I'll just quickly read the entire thing right now. The first section says, hey everyone, since Battle Royale launched, the matchmaking strategy for our core modes has remained mostly unchanged. Over the past 2 years, however, the range of player skill has grown considerably. In Arena, we use hype-based matchmaking to ensure players are matched evenly across all platforms. In the v10.40 update, we're introducing improved matchmaking logic to Battle Royale core modes to create fairer matches. What does this mean? You'll be more likely to match with players of similar skill, and as you get better, so should your opponents. We'll slowly roll this out to all regions across Battle Royale core modes as we test and monitor how it performs. We're excited to get this out for everyone to play, and we'll continue to update the system. We'll update you when it's fully live across all regions to get your feedback as you try it out. Then there's another section directly under that titled Bots, and it says, in the next season, we're adding bots to Fortnite. They'll behave similarly to normal players and will help provide a better path for players to grow in skill. Bots will work in conjunction with the new matchmaking system, and as your skill improves, you'll face fewer bots. Bots will not be present in competitive playlists, and this is another system that we will continue to update and iterate. So obviously, that right there is a lot to unpack, especially if this is the first time you guys are hearing about it. So the first thing I want to talk about here is the first part of that blog post, which in summary, basically means that some form of skill-based matchmaking is going to be added into regular Battle Royale game modes. I'll get into the positives and negatives of that a little later, but what I found most interesting about this blog post is that they don't really reveal any details of how the skill-based matchmaking system will actually work. And that's really important because there are so many different ways that they could do it, and all of them would have dramatically different results. For example, let's say they decide that the primary matchmaking variable is going to be the number of wins a player has or their overall win percentage. On the surface, that may sound really good, but what if you're someone that mainly plays squads with 3 really bad friends, and even though you're a great player and you do well pretty much every single game, you almost never get wins because your teammates are nowhere near as good as you are. Because of that, you'd get matched up against players that you're just way better than, and even though that may be great for you, it's not what Epic wants. And that same example could work the opposite way as well. Let's say you're a bad player that gets carried to wins by your really good friends. You're going to be put into lobbies where every single player that you're going against is considerably better than you. Now, it's totally possible that when Update 10.40 is actually released, they'll give us these details. And maybe that's even happened by the time that you guys are watching this video. But I think the best way for them to do this skill-based matchmaking is to use a bunch of different factors that determines a player's skill. Things like KD, win percentage, kills per game, time played, what your career level is, when you started playing, and there's so many other factors that could possibly be included there. If you just use one or two of those things, it could end up going really wrong. But if you use all of them, or at least a lot of them, it'll give you a really good overall summary of how good a player really is, and that's the best way to do it. Now obviously, any kind of skill-based matchmaking, especially in a game like Fortnite, is gonna have some positives, and it's also gonna have some negatives. And some of them may not be super apparent unless you really sit down and think about it. So first, let's talk about the main positives of this new matchmaking system. For low-skilled or just new players out there, this is plain and simple an incredible change for them. One of the best parts of Fortnite, especially if you're a good player, is the fact that the game has an incredibly high skill gap, mainly due to mechanics like building and editing. But for bad players, that means it's going to be super difficult to keep up with the really good players. And when you're just constantly dying to players that are better than you over and over again, it can be really discouraging. So now, with skill-based matchmaking, these newer or just lesser skilled players can play in lobbies full of other players that are on their level. That'll cause them to hopefully start getting more kills and have more fun playing the game, which will also lead to them becoming better players. Now, even though that may sound like something that doesn't really benefit good players at all, I think it can, and here's why. Ever since about Season 5, Fortnite has constantly added items into the game, which, although they never admit it, are mainly designed to help bad players kill good players. These are weapons/items that the vast majority of the player base hates, and I think in Season X we got the biggest example of that ever with the Brute. But now, because of skill-based matchmaking, bad players shouldn't be in the same lobby as good players, so those super hated items and weapons are no longer needed. If Epic realizes that, and skill-based matchmaking leads to them no longer adding super unbalanced things into the game, I think that's a clear win even for good players. But obviously, not everybody is going to be happy about this change. The main negative is that for good players, public matches are about to get a lot harder. If you're a player that consistently wins games and gets a respectable amount of kills each time, with the way matchmaking currently is, you're probably one of the top 3 to 10 best players in the majority of games you enter. But with skill-based matchmaking, that's probably not going to be the case anymore. Depending on how strict they are with the matchmaking, there'll probably be games where you're not even a top 20 or top 30 best player in the lobby. So if you're someone that has the most fun just absolutely dominating bad players, those games are going to be a lot harder to come by now. And I definitely do sympathize with that viewpoint. It's almost like if someone wants to play games with players of their own skill level, isn't that the whole point of arena mode? But I guess Epic just decided that not enough people were playing Arena, and therefore they need to go a step further to ensure that lesser skilled players weren't always dying to good players. And it'll be interesting to see if Epic adds preventative measures to prevent players from playing on new accounts, just to absolutely dominate those low skill level games. Now let's just briefly talk about the second part of the blog post, which mentioned bots being implemented into regular games. Now a lot of people are really freaking out about this change, but I personally don't think it's going to be a big deal. Based on how they worded it, it sounds like these bots are only going to show up in super low skill level matches. So my guess is, even if you're just an average or slightly below average player, you may not even see a single in-game bot in your entire career. But I think these bots are a much better way to help newer players compared to adding something horrible like the mech, and I'll admit that I am looking forward to seeing what these bots are like in real games. And also keep in mind, even though skill-based matchmaking will be implemented in update 10.40, the bots won't be added into the game until the beginning of Season 11. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down the comment section below. As I mentioned earlier, skill-based matchmaking and bots being implemented into the game is obviously a very controversial topic, so I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you think it's a good or a bad change, and are you excited for skill-based matchmaking or not? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.